As everybody knows, Manchester City have obviously signed Mark Guehi and Antoine Semenyo in the January transfer window, and I genuinely believe now, after seeing Mark Guehi's debut yesterday against Wolverhampton and also seeing Semenyo start to his Manchester City life, that these two signings are genuinely already going to be hits for Manchester City. And I think we've done some phenomenal business in the January transfer window. I think it's exactly what Manchester City have needed, an injection of something into the defense and something into the attack. And I think that these two players are perfect for what we need in this City side at the moment. And what I want to do in this video is I want to kind of just explain my thought process from what I've seen from Mark Guehi and Antoine Semenyo, and why I think they're going to be so important for Manchester City between now and the end of the season, and also for the future as well, and the individual qualities which they bring to this Manchester City side, because I think that they bring a lot of things that maybe we haven't had over the last couple of years, specifically Antoine Semenyo as well. And I think I'm going to start off with Antoine Semenyo in terms of my analysis, because we've got a little bit more data on him. Obviously, Mark Guehi's only had one performance yesterday, but for Antoine Semenyo, we're already seeing the range of goals that he's scoring and the clinical nature from the wide positions, which we've been talking about since obviously Antoine Semenyo was linked to the club. That is exactly what we've seen from him in a Manchester City shirt so far. Semenyo, Oscar Bob, Jeremy Doku all could not do or have not done in their City careers what Antoine Semenyo has already done in a Manchester City shirt, which I think is exemplified by a couple of the goals he's already scored. The first goal that he scored for City, the way that he gets put in behind and it's just a calm, cool, collected finish past the goalkeeper, nice and clinical. I would not expect to see that from Jeremy Doku, Oscar Bob, Semenyo. Jeremy Doku more than the others, but definitely not Semenyo and Oscar Bob. And that was, for me, the first little taste of, oh, okay, he is calm in front of goal. And then the second one, for me, was actually probably more important in terms of the way it was scored. Mopping up at the back post, a ball across the face, and Antoine Semenyo is there. A very Raheem Sterling-esque goal, which we've not seen since he left the club. Someone who's just going to get in those positions at the back post and is genuinely sniffing around, wanting to score a goal. And that is what Semenyo had for that second goal that he scored. And then the third goal, well, the third goal he did also score against Newcastle, but we'll leave that. The third goal that he scored yesterday for Manchester City, what I loved about it is that Bernardo Silva fires the ball into him, right? On the edge of the box. But his first touch is with the intent to score a goal. It's into the box. The first touch sets up his strike. Second touch, scores. And it's clinical into the far corner. And those range of goals that we've already seen from Antoine Semenyo tell me that he is going to add something to the City team, which we have not had in so long, which is a clinical threat from wide positions. And that's why I think that he's going to be really important for us. And also another thing that I've noticed from him is he does like to go and cross the ball. And that is something that I think, especially when Erling Haaland's in the team, is something that we need. We need someone who wants to put the ball in the box, who wants to attack. And I think Antoine Semenyo is a very direct player, and I'm really enjoying what he's bringing to the City team at the moment. And I think that it's what we needed. You know, Erling Haaland has been scoring all of our goals pretty much all season, other than when Phil Foden hit that hot period that he had. But other than that, it's been Erling Haaland. When Erling Haaland's not scoring, we need someone that we can say, okay, he can step up and score a good amount of goals. Antoine Semenyo is that guy. He's already got 3 goals in a Manchester City shirt. He scored 11 in the Premier League so far this season. So he's a very clinical player. And I'm starting to see all of the signs that I really, really want to see. And I like to see, which is a winger that wants to score goals. And I think that that is what Antoine Semenyo is going to bring to the City side. And you kind of expected, look, we paid £65 million for him. He's 26 years of age. He's ready to go right now. Players like Semenyo, Bob, Doku, they're younger, right? You can allow them to progress. Semenyo is ready to go right now. That is what he's proving at the moment. He is proving that sometimes you need to sign players who are ready for the here and now. And that's exactly what he is doing. And I'm really, really excited to see more of Antoine Semenyo in a Manchester City shirt. For Mark Guehi, I think Mark Guehi is going to be an unbelievable signing for Manchester City. £20 million now. Yes, some people will bring in wages and all of that. I mean, it's funny because we don't count wages when it comes to other clubs. But £20 million for Mark Guehi is an absolute steal, right? And obviously we know the reasons why. But to sign a player with the amount of Premier League experience that Mark Guehi has, captaining Crystal Palace, the way he slotted into that Manchester City team and the back line yesterday was seamless. It was a little bit reminiscent of Ruben Diaz when he came in and just slotted straight into the City back line. Pep Guardiola mentioned something about that after the game as well, and I saw it as well. The calmness in which he has, just dealing with situations, the quality he has in possession of the football, that pass that he played through to Antoine Semenyo's running behind, and I think it was about the 10th minute or the 9th minute, that pass in behind, it was quality, and the overall ability he has to progress the ball, something we've not really seen too much from him at Crystal Palace under Glasner, because the Glasner system didn't allow him to really play that role like he can at Manchester City. But that pass that he made was like an Aymeric Laporte pass that we've seen over previous years. So I think that Guehi has a lot of quality, not only out of possession, but in possession as well. Out of possession, we saw obviously yesterday, put his body on the line for a block. I thought he had a good performance defensively. We obviously got the clean sheet with him in there. And I think he's going to be big for Kushinov between now and the end of the season. Because Kushinov, I think he's a phenomenal talent. I really do. But I think he needs someone alongside him with that experience to be able just to guide him a little bit and show him the ropes, right? And I think that Mark Guehi will allow Kushinov to be at his best. And personally for me, I think that the Kushinov-Guehi partnership over the next few weeks will solidify, and I really want to see more of it, to be completely honest. And it does pose the question of where Ruben Diaz comes back into the fold, if we're being completely honest, because Ruben Diaz obviously is a similar kind of player to Mark Guehi. Mark Guehi obviously is a bit younger. I'm going to be very interested to see where we land when all of our players come back fit. I think Vardio will go into the left-back position. But I think Mark Guehi just adds that leadership, that experience, that calmness to that back line, which is much needed at the moment with obviously the injuries in the City team. And I think that it's going to be huge. Both of those players are going to be huge between now and the end of the season. We've slipped behind in the title race. There is no getting away from that. Arsenal have a very good advantage on us, and I think that they probably will go and win the league. But if we are to make a fist of this Premier League title race, Mark Guehi and Antoine Semenyo are going to be integral. Antoine Semenyo for the goals, for making impact in the final third when maybe Erling Haaland's not firing. I think he's going to be big for us. And then defensively, Mark Guehi, specifically with the injuries right now, coming in for Elaine, who, you know, Elaine showed good qualities, but, I mean, he's not at the level of Mark Guehi and the experience that he's got. But I think Mark Guehi is going to be important for us in terms of just solidifying that defense a little bit between now and the end of the season. Hopefully Nico Gonzalez can come back soon, so we have a double pivot of Rodri, Nico in there. I think there's a lot to still come from this Manchester City side, and I think Mark Guehi and Antoine Semenyo are both going to be integral players to this City side in the success that we potentially could have this season. Now, do I think that we're going to go and win the Premier League and win the Champions League? No. I think that I would be lying to you if I said that we're going to absolutely go and do that. But I think that we can be competitive. And I think without Antoine Semenyo and without Mark Guehi, I don't think we would have been competitive. So I think that that's a big level up. I'm really, really impressed from Guehi on his debut. We obviously know what he's been doing at Crystal Palace, so we know his level. But Antoine Semenyo as well. I think Antoine Semenyo was a little bit more of the player which you were a little bit less sure of. But he's come into the City side and he has started on fire. And I think that Antoine Semenyo is such an important player in the front line now. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with the business that Manchester City have done in the January transfer window. I don't really think we need to do too much more, if I'm completely honest. I think that we've got the players that we need. But yeah, I'm really happy with both of the signings. I think that they are integral now between now and the end of the season. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on Mark Guehi and Antoine Semenyo. Are you as happy as I am? I'm pretty sure you will be. But yeah, really, really important signings. Big signings. Criticised at the time. A lot of people have given criticism to Manchester City. But I think that these are two very good strategic signings. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But I'm very happy with Guehi and Semenyo. And I think it's only going to get better from here on out.